Welcome to Kidmin Backstage, the place where we talk about kids ministry and take a peek behind the scenes. We try to share a little bit of what we've learned that works for us and some of our failures so you can avoid them. We release a new episode every Friday, and this is your Backstage Pass to see the magic or the disaster that happens behind the scenes of our kids ministry. I'm your host, Gabe Baker, and today I am joined by Krista and Skylinn. How's it going?
Good.
So this is your guys' debut, your first time on the podcast.
Yes, it is.
We've been having a lot of new people lately. Luis, it was his first time just a few weeks ago. Tyrell was on. So yeah, this is kind of cool. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I hope so.
So we were talking about right before the show started that when I text you
yes.
about the podcast.
So I'm kind of blaming this on Luis a little bit because I remembered a couple weeks ago that Brother Gabe had told, or he had said that Brother Gabe was going to have him on the podcast. So I was like, well, I'm going to go listen to it because I'm sure it's out. And so I was like, thought it would be funny. And then it was really good. And so then later I got a text from Brother Gabe. It was me and Skylinn. So I automatically called Skylinn and I was like, I'm sorry. It's my fault. I did this to us.
All her fault. All the fault.
So you can blame me.
So you jinxed yourself.
Yeah, I jinxed myself here.
That's funny. So, oh man, now I don't know what's going on with the volume.
Is that my fault?
This is backstage. Like, we're on video and I'm not going to edit it. But yeah, Krista, you're just all over the place with your volume. I can't believe it.
That's so exciting.
Okay, let me try fixing it one more time. And while I do, what are we talking about today?
No passion, no point.
Yes. No passion, no point.
Okay, hopefully that will work, and we'll just try to edit best we can in post. So no passion, no point. So I this idea, and I think you guys both kind of fulfill this a little bit. And Krista, you're pretty new, and Skylinn, you're fairly new, but you've been.
Last December was 5 years.
Is it 5?
Wow.
Oh my goodness! I was gonna say 3 years. 5 years.
5 years. It's insane.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Man, it seems like you're still new for some
reason.
And there's no reflection on your skill or anything. It just seems like yesterday that you started.
Flew by.
Remember when we all went to the children's ministry seminar?
Sunday school seminar?
In California? That was fun.
That was fun.
That was cool. We had a big group of us. Okay, well, so we talk about leadership and ministry a lot on this podcast, even though it's a Sunday school podcast. And so I think this can apply to any kind of ministry, but like children's church or Sunday school is not just a checkbox or a slot to fill, like in the church, like, oh, okay, we have a children's ministry. It's more about, like, or at least to be successful, it's about what you bring, on Sunday. What you bring, I said, about the heart you bring into the room, but it's about what you bring. And I think that sometimes kids, they might not be able to, like, explain it or articulate it, but I think they can sometimes, better than adults, they can sense, like, our investment.
Yeah. You
know how, like, animal, like dogs or something, can sense, like, when somebody's suspicious or whatever? I think that, like, kids are not like dogs, but but I think that kids, they can, like, sense that, are we invested? Do we have any passion behind it? So I think that eventually, if we don't, it'll show up. It'll show that we don't. And so, anyway, so loving what you do isn't a luxury in ministry. It's an essential. It's something that we need. So when passion is missing, the ministry might go on for a while without passion, but the impact won't be there. So there'll be no impact on, the kids or whatever the ministry is if you don't have a passion for it.
It's not going to fulfill what you're setting out to do.
Right, exactly.
Also, I feel like when you have a passion, you get like a love for the kids, and that's really important.
Good. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's easy. It's easy to. I was thinking about this with youth ministry, because I'm the youth leader as well, and we have some youth helpers, and we have had throughout the years, we've had many different like couples help with youth, and the difference, I think, in a great youth ministry is this passion. And I remember, like, when there were times when I don't know if you guys remember when we did, like, a carnival up here for the youth.
I don't think either of us were in youth then.
I
remember it happening, but I wasn't in youth then.
Yeah,
I think that's the when you
crazy.
first got back, wasn't it?
It probably was, yeah.
I think so. I remember you guys videoed it.
Retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but things like that, that's not just checking the box. Now, it is kind of over the top, but things like that don't happen without there being some kind of passion. And you don't have to build a carnival, but you have to have the passion there to make, and the passion can show up even like if you're doing a Bible study. Like if you're doing a Bible study and you're sitting there and you're just like trying to get through it and just get it done with and get it over with so you can go to bed or eat chicken, as Pastor would say. If you're just trying to do that, then I think it shows eventually. You know, it shows, and people can feel the difference.
Yeah.
Versus like if you're passionate about it and you're like excited about what you're talking about.
Going back on what you said about kids feel, they can feel if you're invested.
Yes.
And that's one thing me and my mom actually talk a lot about, especially with the school, is because I was in the school and I helped out a lot in my last few years. But the kids can tell when you care. They can tell when you are invested in trying to help.
Yeah.
They can see and sense that
Right.
when you care, you're going to do more and it's going to show.
Yeah. There's a saying, what is it? It's people, and so we could say kids. Kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
And so
That's good.
Yeah, I think sometimes, especially men that maybe are preaching too and are in Sunday school or teach Bible studies in our Sunday school, and so myself as well, we can be guilty of like, you know, we feel like, oh, this is a revelation. We got to teach these kids this revelation, and they could care less.
Yeah.
And they're just like, will you give me a hug?
Yeah.
You know, and so like back to your point, you said when you have a passion, you love the kids, and that makes a difference too. I think like. I think that actually, you know, we talk about magic and disaster, and it's not a disaster. It's not in a disastrous shape, but I do think that we could do better, you know, overall, our Sunday school. We have a large staff that we rotate through. And that's probably part of it, you know, rotating through the staff versus having the same staff every week, which is what we did years and years ago. But now we rotate. And so that's probably contributes some, because it's a little harder when, you know, you're there every third or fourth week or something, you know. It's a little bit harder to connect probably.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get into the outline a little bit. So I wrote, passion is the price of admission. How do you like that alliteration? Passion, price of admission. So this is, we kind of just stomped all over this note, but children's ministry is relational, not transactional. Kids feel what you bring into the room. When we come, I think that, and I've been guilty of it before too, but when we come like on a Sunday, you know, we have practice, and so it's kind of early, and then many of us have other practices and other duties on Sunday morning, and so we get here, and it can be tempting, I'm guilty of it, to rush through, you know, and then if we're not careful, when we go, you know, quote unquote live, when we're in the room and the kids are there, we are still in that rush through mode.
Yeah.
And we get there and we're just like, okay, let's go, you know, and just like, okay, oh man, there's still a minute left on the timer, you know. And so we're like, what are we going to do? And fill the gap. Versus being like, oh man, we only have a minute left on the timer because we're, you know, so invested into this, you know, thing that we're doing or whatever, the segment that we're doing.
I feel like when you have a love for the kids, they also start to get a love for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have an example. I was at Walmart, and one of the girls that rides the bus was like, Sky, and like ran up and gave me a hug.
Cool.
And it was just like, that was like really sweet moment, because I was like, oh, like the kids like can feel like what we bring into the room, and like that we care.
Yeah.
That's good.
She told me about that this morning. Or we were talking about, or was it yesterday? I don't know. And that same little girl, she is the sweetest little girl ever.
Oh,
and it was really sweet. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I was in Sunday school, and so we had all the kids lining up outside. And she was like, Sister Krista. And I gave her a hug, and then she goes, I gave somebody a hug, and it wasn't you. And I was like, was it my sister? She goes, I think so. She had hugged Julia instead.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
so
funny.
I was like, so then I asked Julia, I was like, did the little girl come hug you? She goes, yeah. And then she like looked at me, and she was like scared because it wasn't you. And I was like, oh, it was sweet.
That's funny. Yeah. And you know, that goes to another thing is you never know the impact you're having, you know,
Right.
like,
You have no clue what their home like.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of the kids that come on the bus,
Yeah.
their home life, most of them, it's just terrible. It's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
And so little things, I can't remember. I think it was Brother Tyler Hodge, I think. But somebody talked about a survey, or maybe they did it at their church. I can't remember. But it was some kind of survey where they said they took a poll with the kids, like on how you want to be greeted. And I don't know even why they did this, but they said like a high five, a fist bump, or a hug, or something like that. And most of the church kids, it was like high five or fist bump.
Mm-hmm.
But almost like it was like 95% of the bus, the kids that come on the bus wanted a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, wow. That's data that shows you know.
I feel like that's why a lot of the kids love Sunday school and love Sister Kimmy, because like she's so like passionate.
They can tell it's a
Yes.
safe space.
Right.
That
Yeah.
they can feel people are invested, and it's not maybe what they feel all the time.
Yeah. And I think that we have to be careful too, you know, with this no passion, no point. And we're going to talk about some of the passion on doing like the stories and stuff too. But when you are doing a script and you have a segment, like you're going to go up and do offering, and you have this cool offering object lesson or something that you're going to do, it can be like, we don't want chaos, obviously, in our Sunday school, at least not most of the time. But it can be tempting when kids are acting out or whatever to like, all right, you're out of here or whatever, or just like, you know, be militant. And we don't, you know, what kind of Sunday school is it if you have everybody sitting there neatly folding their hands, but yet they're not engaged, they're not having fun?
No, I'm definitely guilty of starting to especially line up, because you always have me out doing lineup, always the greeting. And so a lot of times there's a group of boys that stand right in the front that I'm always getting onto, but I'm like, they're kids. Yeah. And that's one thing that I think I'm good at, is remembering they're kids. Yeah. It's, you know, they're gonna be kids and they're gonna have fun, but I am guilty of coming up here and being like, well, they're on one today. We're going to have a beautifully chaotic day today.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Sometimes I'm like, well,
Jesus help us.
Amen.
So one of the things, you know, both of you guys, this is your first, girls, both of you ladies, this is your first time on the podcast, but you are already known to listeners because we've talked about you guys on the podcast. And so, but one of the things, one thing I'll mention with Krista is I have talked about that you're my experiment.
My guinea pig.
Yes, you're my experiment. And so we're trying to do some kind of cross training and stuff. And we kind of got lax on that during the holidays, but we're going to get back on it. So, but Skylinn, way back 5 years ago, man, that's crazy. So probably more like 5.5, 6 years ago, you started begging me to be in Sunday school.
Yeah.
And so how old would you have been back then?
12.
Wow.
I was just 12.
You had just gotten out of youth.
No,
Yeah.
Gotten into youth, just gotten
Yeah.
out of Sunday school.
And so she had begged me, and I was like, hold off and everything, and all the time. And I think I might have told you, like, well, keep asking.
Yeah.
But and so she did. She kept on asking, and her mom would text me, hey, just a reminder, Sky wants to be in Sunday school. And so I actually looked for this a few months ago. I couldn't find it right off the top of my head. Maybe that'll help. Maybe I can get, like, a timeline. But I was trying to find the photo, but it was in Sunday night service, and a blowout altar service like tonight. It was just crazy altar service. And I looked over, and there was little Skylinn praying with all these kids. Like, they were young kids, like younger than her. She was praying with a bunch of kids. I mean, weeping, crying with them, praying with them hard. And I took a picture, and I sent it to her mom, and I sent it to Pastor. And I said, this made my decision to have Skylinn in Sunday school. And so we, all the time on this podcast, we talk about, like, with the script and everything that we do, we talk about everything points to the altar. And so I don't know, like, if you guys have heard it on the podcast at all, but I've told a story before about there was a guy that came one time, and he was asking me a bunch of questions about Sunday school. And so I was talking about segments, and I was going through, and I was like, so we have, like, prayer requests, we have offering, there's altar, and I'm just going on. He's like, wait, altar? Altar service, and he's like, I was like, yeah. He's like, you have altar service in Sunday school? I was like, yeah. Every Sunday? Oh, well, yeah. I mean, so unless we run out of time or something. Yeah. And so it floored him. And since then, I've met a lot of people, and I think, most of the people that I talk to have that. And in a curriculum project, we talk about, like, it could even be, like, altar service might sound intimidating, especially if you got, like, a classroom of 5 kids or something. Mm-hmm. But we call it, it could also be called, like, response to lesson prayer, whatever. But we feel like, and there's probably an exception somewhere, but on this podcast, we talk about that altar is essential. Mm-hmm. So there's many things that we say, this is just what we do. We build slides, and we build themes, and we do some cool sword fights. You don't have to do that. You can, each Sunday school has their own thing. That's what we do. We love it, and it's cool. But one of the things that we feel is a non-negotiable is you have to have altar. So, said all of that to say this, that we talk about everything points to the altar. The reason we do these fun things, the reason we build a slide, the reason we do these crazy themes is because we want to engage kids so that we can connect them to God at the altar. Mm-hmm. And so that goes back to when I saw that, took that picture of you, Skylinn, is you were praying with kids on the altar, and that's the foundation. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of why are we here?
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's very, very important. Like, I personally, like, it's gone back obviously for a long time praying with kids and, like, helping them push through, like, that awkward or for them awkward or embarrassing part. It's like just helping them. Like, I remember a couple months ago, or it's been a while, but Caitlin and Kyra, I think, or Oakley, Caitlin and Oakley, they were praying, and I was like, come on, girls, let's pray. And they got the Holy Ghost in Sunday school. Oh, yeah. And I was like, that's just, like, that's super awesome.
Yes. And that goes back to having relationship, the kids feeling that comfort of familiarity when they're, it's something new. If they haven't got the Holy Ghost, you're there as a comfort and a help.
Yeah, and they feel like you care.
Right.
And you have to have a passion.
Yes.
Like, especially in altar, in all of it, but in altar, you have to have a passion for, like, the kids. And, like,
because it's really easy. I mean, just as people, especially if we're in that mindset of go, to not take the time. But like, you really need to get in the mindset of, this is why we're here. Yeah. This is what we're doing. This is the whole point.
It's very easy to also be like, I want to pray with all the kids. So just, like, go to like, just pray with all the kids quickly.
Yeah, not be sensitive.
But be sensitive to who is seeking and
pushing and trying, like, helping them push past that.
Yeah, that makes all the difference, because it's not going to be everyone.
Yeah.
You know? And so often it's just the one. It's just that one, and then it's like, oh, let's rally here and pray with that one little girl or boy or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So another thing I had, we're blowing through our time, but and we're only on the first point. But if you don't if you don't genuinely love the kids, and we can move on after this, but all the planning, we talk a lot on this podcast about planning and structure and being organized, and that's all leadership stuff. But it doesn't really matter how much planning you do. It doesn't matter how good the script is, how well people have their lines memorized. What are we here for? If you don't love the kids and you don't have the passion for it, then we're just wasting our time.
Yeah, I think also too, especially when you are invested and you have a passion for what you're doing, especially in Sunday school, you're going to have more ideas. You're going to be able to bounce off each other. And me and Skylinn did that this morning. We were
with the
dying
Samson
laughing.
eyes. We were like joke after joke after
It was so bad. But
funny.
and they actually used a couple of them for their Keach. But yeah, so when you can feel that other people, they are invested, you're going to be more creative. You're going to have more thoughts and fun. And it's just going to be more.
Yes.
The whole thing, you're going to have more if you are invested and have
one last thing. I'm going to lose my train of thought right now.
Go. You got it.
I completely forgot what I was going to say.
You know what my aunt used to say that would make me so mad? Well, it must not have been important.
I've heard that.
It was important.
It was important.
I promise it was good.
Okay, when you think of it, interrupt me.
Okay.
Or interrupt
whoever's talking.
Yeah. So, okay, checking boxes versus carrying the vision. We talked about this kind of too, but I think that we can get by sometimes with doing the minimum. And so, like you just said, and you talk about fun, but when you are having fun and you're excited about what you're doing, then the results are so much better because you're bouncing those ideas off each other, and you're like, so imagine this: you could go to practice and you're like, I'm tired and want my coffee or whatever, or what were you eating this morning?
Blueberries.
I want my blueberries. And you could, I'm not picking on you, but you could come and just be like, let's get through this practice, and you could do I'll say the bare minimum, but you could get by and like, well, I did it. I did the offering segment. I did that, or I did the Bible story. I acted my part. But when you come and you're like, oh, this would be really cool. What if we did this? We should have a tiger sound. We should do that. Like today, I did the recap thing, and so and it was long. It was really long, but Adrian was like helping me, so he like had sound effects, and he was looking up sound effects as we're going, and he like adding all this stuff. He added that. Did you guys hear the donkey?
Yes. I was walking in the back as he did that, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, like, Adrian!" It was perfect.
Oh man, it was so funny. But yeah, so when you're passionate about it and you're having fun, and having fun is not just for our own benefit, like, oh, we should enjoy what we're doing. We should. But what happens when you enjoy it and when you're having fun is just like you said, the ideas start flowing. Yeah. And then also not just the ideas, but when you're into it, when you're having fun, like if you're up there doing motions to songs and you're on the platform and you're like, when I sing, what's that one where you fall down? Be Happy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so like Doug Forley, Be Happy, and so like I'll fall down, kick my legs and stuff, and the kids just love it. It's funny and exciting, and so I'm just having fun. I'm having a good time, and that engages them. They like it.
Feeding off of it.
Yeah, exactly. They're feeding off of it, and so and then other staff can feed off of that too, and then you create that momentum, and then again, it all points to the altar. You get to the altar. And there's maximum impact because you're like on this high.
Yeah, the emotions, and you get that.
Yeah. I just mentioned this on a recent podcast, but I said John Maxwell, one of my favorite authors, he's a leadership author. He says, he's talking like basketball or something, but he said he's talking about momentum, and he says, when you're winning, nothing hurts. When you're losing, everything hurts. And I think that there's another thing, hurt people, but I think that when we come and we're just like in the mully grubs or just trying to just get by and do our responsibility, then anything that gets in our way or anything that like that kid that's misbehaving, it quote unquote hurts. It's like, because we're losing, it's like, this is so frustrating. But when you're on the high and you're winning, you have a winning attitude, and you're just like, you're invested, you're passionate, you're going, you have momentum, then those things that happen, it's like, you're not going to just let things slide, but it's like, it doesn't affect you the same way. It doesn't end your world, Right. You're just like, okay, well, let's deal with that, whatever.
Yeah. And it's like, it's easier to deal with, I feel like.
Yeah, way easier.
It's easier to take things when you're on that emotional.
And I feel like when they feel like you, like when you're excited or like when you have that high, they respond better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kids definitely do. If you are happy, even if they're upset, if you go to them and you're excited,
cheerful,
and sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does, and they just light up, and
it's more likely to. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if over time, if you excuse me, that passion, dry throat. Over time, that passion shows up, so that, like kind of what we just talked about, but energy, creativity, there we go, and consistency, it all shows up over time. It shows up on the day of, but over time, if you have the passion, like on a macro level, if you have a passion for Sunday school ministry, then you're not just thinking about it on Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
You might think about it throughout the week. It might not be like at the same level as me, maybe, but you're probably going to think about it during the week, and that's where it shows up over time, and you show up to Sunday school with ideas.
Yeah,
and
I think one time you cast me as Lydia in our last theme.
Yes, in the gladiator theme.
And that was my first massive acting role.
Yeah,
that
was
wasn't
a major
Bible
character.
story. Yeah, it was and I think it was after the second week you came back and you're like, so I rewrote the whole script and now you're a major character because you weren't supposed to be in it, very much.
Yeah.
And then I was in it almost every week after that. There was one week where I wasn't in it, but I had I had listened to the audio that you had sent, and it was, it had said she gave a letter to the other character, Cassian. And I was like, I had thought about that, and I should have just told you when I thought about it, but I didn't. And I had it would have been so cool for him to be reading the letter and me talking.
That would have been good.
And so I think I told you that the next week, and you're like, oh, we already did the letter. And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like that I was thinking of, and like you were saying, when you're in it and you have those ideas, speak up. That's one that I have a really hard time with. I told you this morning. When I have ideas, it's easier for me to tell one person rather than the whole group. Even if I would say it each individually to the whole group, it's hard for me to speak up and say it. I think the first time I did this, it was in the transition, almost a year. It would have been about a year ago. But we were doing this story of, it's in the Old Testament where he hides takes stuff they were all told not to take from
Achan. Yeah.
Yes, we were doing Achan.
Yeah.
And we weren't in a theme.
Okay.
But I was thinking about a dynamic opening. I was going back to the story, I was like, I think it would be so cool if in the beginning, as the kids are coming in, we were having...
That's right.
And we ended up doing it where, I think it was Brother Keach was Achan, and he was hiding the stuff underneath the platform as the kids are coming
setting
in.
Up the story.
Yeah, and so, because a lot of times we do a dynamic opening and, when we have a theme relating to the theme skit.
Yeah.
But since we were doing it about the Bible story, I was like, this would be so cool.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad I spoke up because, it worked out well, but then two, it helped me kind of... realize that, what, maybe not all my ideas are great, but some of them might, work out.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, too, is we're not going to use every idea, but that's okay. Best idea wins,
Yeah.
So,
And who knows, yours could be the best.
Or it could spark somebody else's to get
I feel
a
like
great
that's
story.
like how it was today with like the Samson. Like I was like, Brother Keach, we cut off his hair last week, so put his hair in your belt, and then you can play with it when we're partying.
Okay, I didn't hear you say that, but I saw him doing that. I was like,
I did
what
not.
in the world?
That's hilarious.
And then he put the golf balls in the glasses, and I was like, you should color eyeballs on those golf balls.
Yeah.
Like just
Well, I
little-
put them in the glasses, but yeah, and then, but I thought it was so funny in practice when you were like, don't look at me like that.
And then I was like, when we were live, I was like, Samson, watch where you're going. Oh, you can't.
Yeah.
Just like I feel like we
goodness.
feed off of each other a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
So-
Yeah. That's how the ad lib works for sure.
And
Yeah.
Brennan came out with a couple of them, and it was really funny. I had to walk into the back and be like, I was laughing so hard. It was so bad.
Yeah, it was funny. It was it's hard to stay like focused and like not laugh.
Yeah.
Because it's funny.
I find it a
is.
lot easier when I'm not up there
Yeah.
to laugh, because then when I'm up there, it was,
Oh,
I'm trying to be
of-
very.
Speaking of that, there's
no.
a story that is, it was like a disaster, but it was so funny too. So I don't know if Skylinn, if you were in here on this day, but it was during the gladiator theme. In practice, I told Krista there was this part where Lydia, in the audio, because I created for the audience, I created an audio drama or audio kind of book that. Just to kind of have the feel of what was happening.
It was like split up into the chapters, into
yeah,
the
each
weeks.
chapter,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, anyway, so in the audio, I think it was, I had like Lydia is like crying, and so I said, I told Krista, I said in practice, I was like, so, and I was kind of joking, and I was like, so you need to cry. And she was just like, okay, whatever, And so we're in practice. It was just kind of a joke in passing, and we go through the practice, we do our lines and everything. So then we're live, and backstage, Krista is like, she's like, I think I might be able to
Yeah.
cry if I'll try. And I was like, oh wow, okay, that would be epic. That would be awesome. I was just kind of kidding, but that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Poor Krista. She goes out there and she is doing a stellar job. She goes out there, she's doing her part, and I think it's Brent and Brennan. Brent and Brennan are out there just hamming it up. I mean, and then they bring in this line that is, to our church, is like an inside joke, but it's from a Heart of Christmas skit, and they're like, is that the same guy? And they're just laughing and carrying on, and Chris is over there about to like cry, and she's just like acting, and just like she's just dramatic and drama, and they're clueless. I was like,
It was so
oh,
funny.
this is a disaster.
It was
You're
okay.
like, you guys, hello.
It was so bad because here's the problem. I was backstage by myself for a long time. Well, they were already out there.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the vibe was like when I went out there. I don't know if you
She's
saw
over there
this.
thinking about like, her dog died, and
So here's the thing: is I did have them welled up, but they would never fall. So I went and asked Anisha for a spray bottle, and I walked out, and you had that little like
the
walkway.
alcove, yeah.
I went in there, and Sadie walked past, and she goes, "What is that? What are you doing?" I was like, "They're my tears," and she goes, "Oh, great." She's like, "Okay." It was so funny. She's like, "Because I had a spray bottle," and she's like, "What are you doing?"
You're like, Jesus, help me to yawn or something.
I was like, "It's my tears," and she goes, "Oh." So I like sprayed them, and I went out there, and I don't know if they really even saw or like could
I don't
tell.
think so.
I don't think so.
They were having way too much fun, just joking.
I'm like telling them Jesus is their savior, and they're
Yeah.
just like, "That's the same
That's
guy."
the same guy, yeah, from the skit in our
Yeah.
Christmas, yeah. So, yeah, that was
It was
a disaster.
funny.
But Krista was on the right track.
I tried.
Oh,
That's
man.
funny.
All right, well, we are over our time, but yeah, so you got to have passion. If you don't have passion for what you're doing, either figure out if you can find a way to get passion for what you're doing, or see if you can get out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna burn out. It's gonna feed
Yes.
in, and it's not gonna. If you're not going up, you're not.
Yeah, you got to keep.
You gotta
You
keep
got to have some
working.
momentum. And be
I feel
moving
like
forward.
you can also lose passion, which
Yep.
is something that
Mm-hmm.
I've seen.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. You can lose passion, and I think there's a lot of, we're over our time, but there's a lot of reasons for that. But one of the reasons I think, like, there's preparation and that kind of thing, but I think sometimes we might lose passion because we lose sight of the mission.
Right.
And we forget, I'm not here just to do cool sword fights. I'm actually here for these kids, and we kind of lose that, you know.
Yeah.
You lose that, you better be scared.
Yes.
That's scary.
It's scary.
All right, well, that's a wrap.